Since the creation of the universe, God has already appointed his most beloved, most holy, and most righteous prophet. These aren't the words of a Muslim scholar or an Arab poet. They are from a Chinese emperor's 100-character praise poem to Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, written in 1368. What if I told you that China was once home to Muslim empires, Islamic sultanates, and that some of history's greatest naval expeditions were led by Chinese Muslims? Today, we uncover the 1400-year story of Islam in the Middle Kingdom. The first seeds. Our story begins where most Islamic expansion stories do, with trade. In the year 650 CE, just 18 years after the Prophet ﷺ's death, Muslim merchants had already reached China's shores. These weren't just traders, they were ambassadors of faith. The Tang Emperor was so impressed by these Muslim visitors that he ordered the construction of China's first mosque in Guangzhou. But this was just the beginning of a much larger collision course between two great civilizations. The battle that changed everything. By the early 8th century, both the Islamic Caliphate and the Chinese Tang dynasty were expanding westward into Central Asia. A clash was inevitable. In 751 CE, on the banks of the Talas River, Muslim forces of the Abbasid Caliphate faced the mighty Tang army. This wasn't just any battle. It was the first and only direct military confrontation between China and the Islamic world. After 5 days of fierce fighting, the Muslims achieved a decisive victory. Never again would a Chinese state extend this far west. But here's the fascinating part. Instead of creating permanent enemies, this battle actually opened the doors for deeper Islamic influence within China itself. The Golden Age. Under the Song dynasty, something remarkable happened. Muslims weren't just tolerated, they were elevated to the highest positions in society. Persian and Arab Muslims became ministers of trade, managing China's wealthy port cities. But the real transformation came through intermarriage. Muslim merchants began marrying into Chinese families, including daughters of generals and bureaucrats. These unions created a new identity, the Hui people, Chinese Muslims who would become scholars, generals, and administrators. When the Mongols conquered China in 1279, they brought an unexpected gift to the Muslim community, using their strategy of employing minorities to rule majorities. They imported thousands of Muslim administrators from conquered Islamic territories. According to historical records, out of 12 governorates in the Yuan dynasty, 8 were ruled by Muslims, with the other 4 having Muslim vice governors. Muslims became scientists, astronomers, mathematicians, and engineers. Even Beijing's predecessor, Dadu, was partially designed by a Muslim architect named Amir ad-Din. The Emperor's Poem. This brings us back to that extraordinary poem I mentioned at the beginning. The Hongwu Emperor, founder of the Ming Dynasty, wrote his famous 100-word eulogy praising Islam and Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam in 1368. But why would a non-Muslim emperor write such a poem? His wife, Empress Ma, descended from a Muslim family, and he was originally part of a Muslim rebel group. The emperor had 10 Muslim generals in his army who helped him defeat the Mongols. Under his rule, Muslims became fully integrated into Chinese society, building mosques and adopting Chinese surnames. Ma for Muhammad, Ha for Hassan, Hu for Hussein, names that Chinese Muslims still carry today. The Great Navigator. Perhaps the most famous Chinese Muslim was Zheng He, originally named Ma He, born in Yunnan to a Muslim family. He was captured as a child and eventually rose to become the admiral of the Chinese Navy. Between 1405 and 1433, Zheng He led 7 massive naval expeditions, fleets of hundreds of ships carrying 20,000 men. He established Chinese Muslim communities across Southeast Asia, sailed to India, the Persian Gulf, and even reached the Arabian Peninsula to perform Hajj. Many of the mosques across Indonesia, Malaysia, and the Philippines that bear his name today are testament to how Chinese Muslims helped spread Islam throughout maritime Asia. Centuries of struggle, but the story wasn't always one of triumph. Under various dynasties, Muslims faced persecution, massacres, and discrimination. The most devastating period came during the 19th century rebellions. In Yunnan province, after years of harassment and violence, a Muslim leader named Du Wangzhi established the Yunnan Sultanate in 1856. For 16 years, this Muslim state controlled western Yunnan, even briefly capturing the provincial capital. Meanwhile, in Xinjiang, another Muslim leader, Yaqub Beg, established the Kashgar Emirate with Ottoman support, flying the Ottoman flags as their official symbol. These weren't just rebellions, they were attempts to create independent Muslim states within China. Modern challenges and resilience. The 20th century brought new challenges. During the Cultural Revolution, mosques were destroyed and religious practices suppressed. Yet the Hui Muslims led the only large-scale ethnic rebellion during this period, showing their resilience and determination to preserve their faith. After the Cultural Revolution ended, the Communist Party officially apologized to the Hui Muslims and offered reparations for damages suffered. Today, somewhere between 18 to 25 million Muslims live in China. In many regions, particularly in the Quran Belt provinces of Qinghai, Gansu, and Ningxia, Hui Muslims form majority populations and live normal lives distinguishable from Han Chinese only by their clothing and dietary practices. The story of Chinese Muslims is one of remarkable adaptability, maintaining their Islamic identity while becoming thoroughly Chinese. They've been traders and admirals, rebels and administrators, poets and warriors. Their 1400-year journey reminds us that Islam has always been a global faith, adapting to local cultures while maintaining its core principles. From the emperors who praised the Prophet ﷺ to the admirals who carried the message of Islam across the seas, Chinese Muslims have left an indelible mark on both Chinese and Islamic history. What aspects of Chinese Islamic history surprised you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe for more untold stories from the Muslim world. The story of Islam is far richer and more global than most people realize. And we are here to uncover every fascinating chapter.